When men have choices between Western women and Southeast Asian women, in this example, Thai women, what happens? And this is specifically for you, American men and European men, because you don't have any choices. And I just wanted you to see what happens if you did. Now, this is the second part of this amazing Thai phenomenon experiment that we got going on right here, because I'm streaming live from Bangkok, Thailand, where I live now for over 2 years as a passport bro, but not the passport bro that you see in those crazy videos. They have nothing to do with what the passport bros really are. So I've been reacting to this podcast. As you can see, we're not going to get to have a video, which is a shame, because this podcast right here in Bangkok interviewed four Western women who came here to Thailand for some reason and stayed and dated here. So we went through the first half yesterday, and there were a few things that I'm going to summarize. So there are four women. One, the youngest is 29, the oldest is 43, I think. Two of them are single mothers, and one of them, for some stupid reason, brought her daughter into the studio. you know Two of those women were dumped by their husbands after they came here to Thailand as a couple. That is not uncommon when a couple comes here and a husband kind of realizes what other choices are around him. The husbands end up leaving because and the biggest phenomenon here is because wives are not, just like single Western women here, are not really grasping the reality that the tables have been turned, and now they have to compete with actual women who care about men, well, family values, who bring something to the table. In this case, Thai women here, not all of them, I have said it many times. Thai women who speak English, for example, are not that much different than American women. I stay away from them. This is why I'm learning Thai. So so it was very interesting. And now they've, as just as most Western women, these women have a very hard time answering very easy questions. And the reason for that is usually they don't really have to. You can ask a Western woman a question in a dating situation, and they'll give you an answer to a question they would like to answer instead, or they just don't have to put any effort, right? In America, in Europe. However, here it is very, very sort of um, uh, obvious. So what we've also discovered, and we went through through all four women as they were answering a question. Hey, what's the difference between dating in your original country? And I think one girl's from South Africa, another one's two from America, I believe, one from Europe. So they basically all, and kudos to them for being truthful. They basically said, yeah, there's a big difference. They're essentially invisible here. Now, before we continue, and I guess they get into the details, and as usual, I have not listened to this podcast. I really do like doing this live reactions where I haven't watched the video or listened to the podcast for you guys. But what I have noticed, one interesting thing happened last night, because before that, if you guys listened to my live stream yesterday, I said, well, listen, in over 2 years of being here and being kind of active in Thai community and expat communities and social media, I've only known and heard of one Western woman who came here single and ended up getting married. Well, guess what? That number has just doubled, because last night I have met another couple of they're not married yet, but I think they're just about to, they're engaged, of a girl who came here and met her husband here. Now, I do have to say that she is boss chick, loud, borderline obnoxious, tattoo covered, not good looking woman. And the guy is doesn't really have a job, and the guy is a decent looking guy, but just a simp, just a simp. I don't think he would know what a submissive good woman is. I don't think he would have balls to figure this out. I think he's much happier, like a lot of American guys. He's not American. I think he's British though. To basically be submissive to a woman, to be a simp, is just so much easier for him. He just doesn't have enough balls to really go out there and really date and explore and understand and get his self-esteem up and self-respect. So the guy definitely matched the type of a guy that a girl like this would get. But nevertheless, she came here and she managed to get married. So there's two Western women that I've ever heard of who came here to Thailand and managed to actually pull a guy who's usually, like I said, is a simp, and it is what it is. So, all right, let's continue to actually continue listening to these to this podcast. By the way, if you guys, as you should, think in you're in America or in Europe and you're a single guy or not, if you think about coming, leaving your country because you guys, you don't have choice. You don't have a choice. This is what this video is about. So once you have a choice, once men have a choice between dating, a Western woman and dating a Thai woman or Filipino woman, this is just like, I'm using Thailand as an example, but the same thing happens in many other countries. Every single man, pretty much Western or Thai, choose Thai women, the local women, the non-Western women, essentially, right? Just like, in America, in Europe, a lot of men choose just not to date at all, since maybe some of them cannot get out. But if you do want to get out, I actually have a step-by-step instructions, the guide on how to do that. It's not a simple process, and a lot of guys fail. So go to the millionmanproject.com. I have everything there outlined already. The link is in the description of this video. So let's continue with this podcast.
A lot of guys I know here, including myself, have had expat friends. And after 3, 4, 5 years of sort of living in this dating wasteland, they leave Thailand and they're very bitter and angry and feel maybe like they're not good enough or whatever. Is that something that you see as a general danger or eventuality, or is that very much dependent on each individual?
So he is correct. And this is what I've noticed. This is why when you come here to Thailand and you look at actual expat community, right? People who live here, not the tourists or whatever, it is definitely mainly men, because it's a paradise for men most of the time. And it is absolute, what he's called it, wasteland for women. Because when women come here, they come here entitled, they come here, already boss chicks and everything. And even though they see all these Thai women getting the men they want, the Western women want, they change nothing. They change nothing in the way they act and how entitled they are and so forth and so forth. And that's why when men have choices, they do not choose these entitled Western women. And that's the amazing phenomenon. So he is absolutely right on the money here. That absolutely is true. So let's see what they say.
This is Kat, and I will jump in and just say, yes, I've seen friends that have left Thailand for that reason. They get dumped by someone or they lose hope and they're like, Thailand is not the place to date. I'm out of here.
They feel like they have little hope.
No, something's happening with my computer.
Yes, absolutely. And I guess, you go through phases. If you've been single for a long enough time, you go through phases. And I feel like I've been through phases like that where I'm like, yeah, I'm in the game. I got this. I'm going to find and date someone. And then oh, never mind. And then you just stop dating for a while. And then you get, it's like months or a year will pass. You're like, okay, I'm going to try again. But I think for my friends that have tried to date and get back into it, and then they just feel like maybe it's a number of other things. Their job isn't going well. The pressures of trying to be a digital nomad or a teacher here isn't working out. And that's the last final straw for them, where they're just like, okay, never mind. This is not worth it. I'm out of here.
This is Maggie. I feel like I've had the similar, lots of people coming and going, obviously transient, but especially women, where it's like meeting women that's been here for longer than 4 years or so. I was very lucky the first 4 years that I was here, that I had a core group of 4 girls that we were all here and we would see each other every Thursday night at least. And just seeing lots of other girls come and go really quickly, just being some of them 6 months where they were like, no, I can't do this. This is horrible. I can't have a personal life. Job's great, but I can't date here. I can't have any.
Well, of course, they can date. They don't want to change, right? They don't want to compete with Thai women. And when you actually talk to these Western women, and I have As a matter of fact, tonight I'm going to try to go to a couple of events that are specifically for expats, just so I can talk to more Western women as part of my job, essentially. Trust me, there's very little fun there. But, they would say, oh, I am so much better than Thai women. Why would I need to change, right? Or I have the career, and those poor Thai women, why would men choose them over me, right? Just complete delusion. So they absolutely can date, because overall, I would say, for my taste, and I think some guys will agree that overall, generally speaking, on average, the expat women are better looking than Thai women. You know what I mean? Because if you like curves like I do, that the visually. So imagine that even guys like me who visually would say, well, I generally speaking, I go in that direction. I go like, no, no, thank you. I'd rather take less maybe attractive women, generally speaking, than deal with Western women. And this is, if you guys like, do you understand what I'm talking about? Do you understand what are you hearing? Like, I feel like this needs to be taught in school for men. Like, do you understand that you're being brought up in a country that gives you a horrible choice in women, that in any other country where there's literally any other choice of women, every single man pretty much, right, Western or Thai, goes like, oh no, yeah, I can't do this. I can't do this Western women thing, right? Do you guys understand? And if you're dating still in America or Europe, or if you have a girlfriend or wife now, do you understand how bad of a deal you're getting? Like, it is unbelievable. And I mean, kudos to these women to come on this podcast and actually tell the truth. Because I actually, when I was going to react to this video, I thought, oh man, I'm going to have to fix a lot of bullshit that they're probably going to spitting here, right? But these women overall are telling the truth, and I'm actually quite surprised. So let's keep going.
Anything else. And then other girls who were fine with it, but also were just like, I don't see a future of meeting someone here. And I have friends who literally after 3 months being back home, wherever they're from, being engaged, like, or like things like that. And it's just like,
Yeah,
ooh, okay. Getting
they
married.
absolutely, when they go back, they will find pathetic simps who either don't know anybody or they know they don't have any choice. And yeah, that's why and a lot of simps encourage this behavior, this type of entitled behavior that makes this women undateable pretty much anywhere else in the world. So American men, and this is what this channel is all about, just need to understand how bad of a deal they're getting for such a high price on top of that.
Getting married, just like Facebook. Oh yeah, great. So many engagements going on. Like, and I don't know about you guys, but like a lot of people who like say, oh, you go home for the holiday or whatever, and you're going to feel great. You're going to feel so attractive. It's going to be awesome. I'm like, okay. Yeah, that is true. That's very true.
Can I jump in? Sorry, it's
Laura
Laura.
jumps in here. You guys understand what they're saying, right? They're saying like when they're in a place where men have choices, nobody wants them. But they go to America and all of a sudden they're treated as hot commodity. Do you understand, guys? That's you that are being suckers and being fooled into dating this women. You need to think about that. Really just think about that.
The amount of women I've seen angry, like people who you wouldn't expect to be angry and bitter get really angry and really bitter. And it's kind of
It's also
shocking. I
hilarious.
mean, I haven't gone that way, but I know people who have. But yeah, going home for like a month.
It is hilarious. Yeah, you will see this good-looking women who will be like bitter and not really like they. You can see it's beautiful. So I'm not gonna lie. Like tonight, if I'm gonna go, there's a couple events I'm gonna go, and of course, there's gonna be a lot of bullshit. Like yesterday, I did go to a birthday party with a few Western women, and I kid you not, one of the women was such a fucking cunt that I just left. I didn't want to get into a conflict with her. She was just a fucking awful human being. Filipino women married to a simp expat. And I just couldn't stand her. I mean, and I just literally left the party early because at the end it was like only a few people and you couldn't get away from her. And I literally left the party early because I can't stand these women. I just can't. So tonight it will be a mix between like me having to deal with it, but also taking pleasure in seeing how angry and frustrated they are because their bullshit tricks, right? And their entitlement just doesn't fucking work here. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to see.
Going on 3 years now. So you do go home, and then it's, I mean, you see people you went to high school with and like, yeah, that's not what I want at all either. Like, ooh, no, thank you. But then just people you knew were like, oh, wow, you're really different. Like, well, yeah, obviously. I mean, we're all different, but you do feel so, so different. And people approach you and people talk to you. And then I find myself going, what's happening? Why are you talking to me? What's like, why are you so close? What are you doing?
Which means women are never happy, right? They're not happy when they're not being approached, and then they're not happy when they're being approached. And this is Western women for you. Never happy, high demand list, very low. And really, I don't even know what at this point besides sex is they have to offer. I genuinely don't.
Like, do I have something? What's on my face? Like, what is on my face? Why are you talking to me in
Entitlement
public?
is on your face, and unfortunately, a lot of men in America do not see it yet. Though I know, judging by your comments to a lot of my videos, I'm seeing that the more and more men are freshly red pilled, freshly finally finding their own sort of self-respect and building boundaries and rejecting this bullshit type of attitude from women. Like, I feel like finally the needle is moving little by little.
Like, but that's just what happens. So, but the bitterness and the anger, I find some women go that way.
Yeah,
Might not be the way to go, but some do.
My experience was with a very good friend of mine, and her name is Penny. I can say her name because we had a falling out. We don't talk anymore. It's completely unrelated to this issue, but she was over here for a few years, and then I was here. And I remember coming home one night to her, and I was at an internet cafe. This was back in like 2002, and I was at an internet cafe, and this Thai woman next to me started talking and asking me questions. And she was an older woman. I think she was probably trying to scam me. I didn't know any better at the time. But I came home and I said to Penny, like, oh yeah, this woman started talking to me in the internet cafe. And she got really angry at me. And she was like, oh, goddamn, man, like you have it so easy. You don't even know. And I was like, I didn't know anything about what we're talking about. I had no preparation for like what was going on there behind the scenes, but I was like really unprepared. And she was like angry at me, and I'm like, I was just sitting there. She started talking to me. Don't get mad at me, but I'm sure there was all kinds of subtext and nuance within that reaction that I didn't understand.
Right, and this is what, if you guys don't understand what entitlement is that, right? These Western women, usually they believe that just by existing and having a pulse that's it. That's all they need, right? They don't need to be able to really do anything, right? And even sex is not really something that is just something they do a favor for men when they have sex with them, right? Where it like I said, and then they come here and they realize, oh damn, like I can't just be a princess there because I exist. Like I have competition, and competition is stiff because these women cook and clean and give massages, and they don't argue, they don't demand shit. They, and don't get me wrong, like I said, if a Thai woman speaks English, I kind of consider her a Western woman, right? A westernized woman. I'm just talking about the actual Thai women who are Thai here still.
Don't understand. But she was really, really pretty, really beautiful. And she had one boyfriend in 6 years.
He is not kidding. And you will see beautiful women here, stunning, beautiful women where like I know if this girl goes to Los Angeles, New York, whatever, she will have a multi-millionaire dudes fighting for her because they don't know any better, because, there's no actual quality women there. But yeah, and here, these women are by themselves and single. Now, again, if you would think you would approach a girl who hasn't been a boyfriend and yet she's very beautiful and frustrated and angry with it, and you approach her and she'll be like, okay, somebody finally likes me. Let me see if I can put more effort into it so I don't lose this guy to yet another average looking Thai woman. They don't. And that's the phenomenon, right? That is the phenomenon of the type of the Western culture that's infected these women a lot of times, pretty much at birth, and they just cannot get rid of that. And there is no vaccine, for that apparently. So it is, it is stunningly amazing to me.
When she left, she was really angry and bitter, and just didn't want anything to do with Thailand or the people here. And it was really, really shocked me how quickly she went from being like fun and cool and outgoing to like angry and just pissed off at everyone.
I've got a question. Just out of curiosity, do you have any friends? So not just someone you've heard about, but any friends who are in successful relationships with Thai men?
One of my this is Maggie. One of my best friends is married to a Thai guy. They're going on, I think, second year, anniversary for the wedding anniversary, but they were together for 2 years.
So this
before
does
that.
happen. These Western women do marry Thai men sometimes. Like I don't know one. Okay, so like, and by the way, I think about it. How many friends she has here, and looks like just one got married. These are relationship where local men. We also have simps here too, right? And sometimes it's not a simp. It's just a guy who is just a local gentleman. Who just doesn't know about this bullshit and all of that stuff. Obviously, never been red pilled, and he gets caught into like, oh shit, unlike other women here, this girl makes her own money. I don't have to pay for it and all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, what he doesn't realize that he's just going to be pussy whipped, right? And won't even know until it's like too late. But there are some relationships when Western women come here and really do fall in love with Thailand, do learn the language and the culture, and it's a good match. So I don't want to 100% assume, but I'm just saying that also happens where money, like that's another thing, these women will provide for Thai men, or like I said, not always Thai, right? This happens in the Philippines, that happens in many other countries. We're just specifically talking about Thailand because that's what this podcast is about, and that's where I live. So I kind of know this country much, much better, the dating scene, than others. I'm pretty well familiar with Philippines, and I'm going to go back there later this year. But like I said, don't think that this is only happening in Thailand. No, this is happening literally everywhere.
So
So
one.
I know one.
This is Carrie here. Yes, I do. They're actually back in her home country. She's from Sweden. So they kind of go back and forth between Sweden and Thailand. And
so that does happen, but that usually means that the girl is kind of becoming the dude and is providing and essentially paying the bills, right? And again, that is one of the few ways how some dudes and a lot of obviously these Western women that's the only way they can get into a relationship here is by buying their partner again. But it goes both ways too.
seem pretty happy. They have a daughter together. Yeah.
So it is possible.
It is possible. It's out there, believe it or not.
I've been trying to find an expat woman who's married to a Thai man to come on the show, and I've asked a few, but
as you can see, when these guys professionally doing this, right, this podcast, and they're genuinely searching for one, it is not easy to find because how few actually do that.
people don't want to come on the show.
This is Laura. I know one too with 2 kids.
Okay, let's talk.
Happily married, 2 kids.
Yeah.
Thai women. I know a lot more expat men married to Thai women rather than expat women.
That's exactly the point here, right? This is like, we all know other expats here, men and women, and the ratio is staggering in favor of essentially Thai women. Just, and there's some not really good Thai women here. And I already told you guys this. And, 2 days ago, I streamed about all of the failures where, these losers, simpy, Western men come here and all the mistakes they make. They essentially, I would say 80% of Western men here end up dating literally the worst possible Thai women. And some of them are just horrible wives, horrible women. And some of them are just westernized. They're just essentially, they come here, they don't know how to be a man, they don't improve themselves, they continue to simp, and they end up with the same type of a girl that they would in America. Maybe a little bit younger, maybe a little bit prettier, but the results are pretty much the same.
Married to Thai men, but yeah.
No one wants to hear about that.
No, nobody cares about them, but but they are happy.
Yeah.
And I also think they also don't fit the stereotype of, I went out and I took her from Isan, and
Right.
my bar girl is different type stereotype that goes on there. They're just normal people who are married, which I think actually for men is a good stereotype to fight against as well. You haven't drugged them out of the haven't done the white savior thing where you've lifted them out of poverty and taken them from Isan type stuff, which is another stereotype, which I think is unfair.
Yeah, it doesn't
unfair as well to a lot
whenever
of.
my wife and I walk through Nana or happen to be in close to an area. One time
You
we got
know
in the
what?
back of a
I
taxi.
wish he would not have interrupted because this girl was going in the right direction. So a lot of Westerners who don't travel, or when they travel, they just sit in resorts or sit in the tourist areas and think, "Oh, I visited Thailand or I visited Mexico." No, bitch, you didn't. You visited the area that was built for you, so it feels like you're still in America or Great Britain. You know, you've seen nothing. You know, this is why when I travel, I genuinely do not do touristy attractions almost ever. Like when I was in Egypt, I saw the pyramids because it's kind of like must do, right? But I also walked through as many neighborhoods as I could within this security and safety, right? Same thing when I did in Kenya and all 32 countries that I've been to. So people don't know how to travel. So majority of American people in general, they don't know shit about what's going on outside of America. They think America's number one. That's the best way to live, and they have no idea how much better people live, out there. So a lot of people think like, oh, this Western man come here and these poor Thai women, they just have to marry them so they'd be lifted out of poverty. First of all, there's not much poverty here. Like I've seen way more, like 100 times more poverty in America, homeless people, desperate people, whatever, than I see here. I see almost no homeless people here. Most of the people have free healthcare from the government. There's almost no crime here. Thai people are so better off than American people. Like when we call, talking about the poverty level, I guess. And a lot of times these women don't need us. Like I wish sometimes a woman would look at my money and say, wow, this guy's hardworking, he must have been very educated and have done a lot and owned his own business and had to be disciplined and whatever, and yes, he can give me a better life. They don't look at it that way because they don't really want the better life. Yes, there are some gold diggers, of course, and they want the better life, which is, I don't know if a Mercedes and Louis Vuitton Porsche is a better life. But a lot of these women, they live with their families. Do you know that you asking her to move in with you, that's a fucking downgrade to these women. And the food that they eat, like it's home cooked food. You think you're gonna take her to a nice French restaurant and that's an upgrade to a home cooked Thai meal? No. And this is what dumb Americans don't understand when they think that, like, oh, foreigners show up and just like all these poor women. I was just in Kenya, right? And Kenya is actually poor, all right? Thailand is not poor. Kenya is really poor. And I've aggressively dated there for 2 weeks. And I got to tell you, these women, they could not even afford to pay for a bus to come on a date with me. They're just that poor. There's a lot of people with no jobs and there are no jobs. Here, at least there are jobs. They're not high paying jobs, but they're jobs. In Kenya, a lot of people just don't have jobs no matter what they do, right? So, and yet, all these, Kenyan women, not all, like I would say 90% behaved like they're American women. Like they demanded this and they were late or they wouldn't show up or, you know what I mean? And I was like, I'm sorry. There's like 7 foreigners here and another 7 well-off Kenyan men. You have no choice. There's tons of beautiful, African women, Kenyan women, and there are very few actual bachelors that can, actually lift you out of poverty. And they still did not act like they give a shit. Like they still acted like they're all independent multimillionaire chicks, right? So I think a lot of people don't understand that lifting the out of poverty thing is just not even a reality here. The only time when a foreigner has to use his money for these girls is because when they're buying this, what I call as subscription prostitutes. And they are in every country, honestly, not just here or Southeast Asia in general. And, these dudes, they're just losers who only way they can get a girl is by buying her, right? So, but that has nothing to do with passport bros like me. Like we're here to actually meet genuine women, and we don't need to use our money for that. And these women are not impressed by our money. So this is what a lot of people don't understand. And she was going there, and unfortunately, she got interrupted. But let's see where this conversation is going now.
And the guy said, which hotel do you want to go to? And she nearly kicked the shit out of this guy. Like she was so mad.
Yeah, I don't think that's fair to the Thai women who are married to foreign men.
No, it's not fair, but it's just buying into a stereotype.
It's buying into a stereotype, which I think is starting to at least break down a little bit, but still we're still really? A little bit, bit by bit, but not completely.
I get stereotyped as, oh, Russian prostitute. Like somebody asked me on the train at like 3:30. This is just after I taught. I teach kindergarten. I'm appropriately dressed. Afterwards, I was like, did I do something to make this person think I'm like in that? But he literally just came up to me and he, without missing a beat, just was like, how much? And I was like,
What?
excuse me. And there was this Farang guy standing behind me. And I was like, excuse me, what did you just say to me? And he was like, how much? And this guy behind me, bless him, don't know him, whatever. He was like, excuse me, what did you just say to my girlfriend? And then I went, what the fuck?
She just met two losers, right? One is a simp, and other is an idiot. And this is what I'm telling you guys: the majority of men who come here are losers, and they don't improve. Just like these women, they come here, they entitled bitches that nobody wants to date, and they don't improve. So this is why I have not made that many friends here with Western men. Most men that I made friends with is just like really incorporated into the culture and kind of almost becoming Thai. Last night I was at the birthday party, and who kind of a guy who's becoming a friend of mine. I play soccer with him, and American guy. And I was on his birthday party, and the two women, it wasn't a big group, it was the two women who were there. They were this most like one was westernized Filipino girl, which essentially I had to leave the party because I just could not deal with her. And another one was this girl who ended up finding a partner here in Thailand with a simp. Like it's like the girl that I ended up not wanting to deal with, she is married to one of my friends, other friend who I also know, and she's been friends with my buddy for like 10 years. So, and I never want to see her again, right? She was a complete fucking horrible human being. I don't want to be around her. She was also high and drunk, and you know, so essentially, most likely, even though I felt like I was on the way of becoming friends with my soccer mate, this is not going to happen because I can't hang out with him in a social setting, right? Because he's most likely going to have that girl around. And in general, I noticed that he hangs out with a lot of other expats that I think are either losers who are men or Western women I just cannot stand for more than like 10 minutes, right? So, this one guy who I would love to be friends with, I can't because he's just surrounded by so much fucking poison from both sides, right? Expat men and expat women, that I'm probably just going to end up, hanging out with him when, we play soccer and then go get something to eat afterwards. And probably that would be it. So just to be fair, on both sides, there's just like low quality of human beings here, unfortunately.
I was like, thank you very much. But you, like, I was just so upset. And
Yeah,
then
she
there
wasn't
was
even
this
upset.
time-
Yeah, it's stupid to pretend like you're a boyfriend of this girl. But again, instead of saying thank you, you kind of stood up for me. She's like, well, I don't like you either. So and then these women, and she's proudly admitting this publicly, right? I would be embarrassed, right? But they're not, because they don't know that this is the type of behavior is exactly the reason why they're single.
my lady that was sitting down and she was like asking what was happening. And her Thai daughter like explained to her that like, because it became a scene on the BTS. And like the old lady actually stood up and was like, what the hell is wrong with you?
That
kind
did
of
not
thing.
happen.
And
Complete
that
fucking
was
bullshit. If the lady is Thai, that's not the type of behavior that Thai person would ever do. First of all, unlike Western people, Thai people mind their own fucking business. That's why I fucking love Thai people to death. Secondly, if she's an elderly, she absolutely is old-fashioned Thai woman. She would not going to get involved between two fucking idiot tourists. So that's a complete fucking lie, unless she's not telling part of the story here. So I can guarantee you that never fucking happened, or there's much more to that story. However, I do want to say that I have never seen this happen before, right? and it's weird. It was on a SkyTrain, or she said on the subway. Like, I can see how it happens in the areas where there's a lot of hookers. But I also do have to say that a lot of Western women do dress inappropriately here. Though, if you've been here for a while, I would assume that they again, like, I can't assume because they don't fucking learn their lessons. But I see a lot of, Western women dressed quite inappropriately. But they also have tattoos, right? Like, here in Thailand, if you have tattoos and if you're a Thai girl, you either a hooker or of some sort, or you're a hooker wannabe, right? It's not a good sign. But so when a guy sees a Western woman having a tattoo, which is like pretty much fucking all of them, that's not a horrible assumption that she's probably a wholesome level. Now, again, I have not seen this before here. Usually BTS and MRT, the subway and SkyTrain here, are quite quiet because Thai people don't talk loudly and shit, and they all mind their own business, like I mentioned. For somebody to come up to a girl and said how much, there has to be more to that story, right? It is like way too bold of an assumption and a deal. And I got to tell you, we do not have here in Bangkok, we do not have Western prostitutes. They're usually either black or Thai, or other Southeast Asian ethnicity. So that's another assumption that just doesn't happen here. So, like I said, I just don't believe the story, or there's much more to the story that she's not mentioning. Because again, she's like, well, I wasn't dressed provocatively. Well, I don't know. I'll be the judge of that. So, but like I said, something doesn't add up to the story in the story. So I call bullshit.
That was a nice experience in Thailand where I was like, wow, it's really cool. Like, community, like, standing up for you and things like that, especially like in Bangkok, where I don't feel that happens a lot. Like in Lat Pral, that was a big thing for me. I miss the community. Here, I don't see my neighbors ever. I don't know who lives right next door to me. There, I lived in a Thai house, and like my security guards basically were like, if a gate closed, 4 grandmothers like poke out their head, and like everybody knows your business. But that was nice. Yeah. So there are lots of stereotypes of that. And that's not the first time it happened. I went on a girls' weekend to Pattaya with a friend of mine for her bachelorette.
Okay, so let me tell you guys, this is another red flag if you just did not caught it. So it's not pronounced Pattaya, by the way. For somebody who lived in fucking Thailand for enough years, she should know how to pronounce it. It's Pattaya. But so Pattaya is what I call as an asshole of Thailand, because it is the horrible place where essentially sex tourists, in the worst type of sex tourists, go, and the worst type of Thai women all meet, right? Is because it's all about sex tourism. Is a shithole. People go there for the beach, but it's probably one of the worst beaches I have ever seen. So, and it's super touristy. It's all about hookers and johns, and it's disgusting, and it's awful. So when a girl says that I'm going to Pattaya to party, that's a big fucking red flag. And again, if a girl's going on a bachelorette party there, she must be marrying a simp. There's zero chance a self-respecting man would tolerate a girl even being part of that group going to Pattaya, right? Nothing good's going to happen there. There's going to be a bunch of, and these women know that, there's going to be a bunch of sleazy fucking dudes grabbing them and trying to buy them, right? Trying to screw them. And they're still going. They're like, yeah, we want exactly that. Yeah, we want that, right? A bunch of sleazy dudes who are there to hire women. We want them all over us everywhere and being grabbed by them. So that is, you stay the fuck away from any woman who says that, like, I go to Pattaya to have fun,
And that's not what Pattaya is really known for, not for bachelorette parties. So
yes,
we walked
because
down
Thai women don't do this stupid shit. It's an American unacceptable thing that only American and British, European men tolerate. That if I'm ever getting married and my future wife was said, I'm going to have a bachelorette party, we're not getting married anymore. Only American men are so pathetic that they allow for that. And in this case, to go to Pattaya, I guarantee you the girl who is the bride, she's got the simpiest, most pathetic dude who's marrying her.
And like all of my friends that I'm there with, or walking street, They're all
Yeah,
in
they went to the walking street, right? So the walking street is like the place where all of this happens, right? All the hookers are there, all the bars are there, all the sleazy dudes are there, and all the hoes are there. So what a great place to be.
relationships for a long time, and they have like they always go, "You have the weirdest stories," and then and I'm like, "Yeah," and somebody just thought I was a prostitute. They were like, "No, that doesn't happen.
See,
That doesn't."
why wouldn't they? If there is a girl there who does not have a man next to her, if she's on the walking street, I really reasonable, and she does not have I don't know, a notebook and an apron, meaning she doesn't work there, or a skimpy outfit, which means she works there. The only reasonable assumption would be you're a hoe, you're a hooker, right? So no, don't blame the man there that you put yourself in that situation, and you knew you were putting yourself in that situation.
Happen. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, it doesn't happen in your world, but it does, unfortunately, in mine. And so we were there, and literally within seconds of walking onto Walking Street, two guys approached me and we were like, how much? I was just like, mm-hmm. And I kept walking, and the four of them stood still.
Shocked.
And I was like, oi, keep moving. Like, this is not, they're going to approach you. Move.
So again, this woman, she might be stupid, but she's not that stupid. She absolutely knew. If you step your foot into the walking street on Pattaya, and without a man and without a uniform of any kind, you will be reasonably assumed that you're a hooker. And again, she knew that. There's zero chances that she didn't know that, and she still went. This is why it's a red flag for a woman to go that. And of course, now she's like, well, I don't know what's happening. I couldn't understand why, No, bitch, you absolutely knew that. Don't play down. We all know this. Like, it's weird that the hosts, now, of course, hosts have to be nice to them, right? But the hosts know also. I guarantee you, these girls left the studio, and this host were like, can you believe that this bitch is trying to like tell us that somehow she had no idea she's going to be taken for a hooker when she's in the middle of a hookerville? Yeah.
Wildest, most inappropriate dreams. I cannot imagine ever saying that to someone.
So
I hope he's being sarcastic there.
Several occasions where, like you were saying, like you would never in your right mind even think of saying that to a girl back home or wherever you're from.
But yes, but you are in the middle of a hookerville. So yes, that's really the only interaction you should expect there. Like you see, the delusion of these women is just showing.
Yeah.
And here it's just like, oh, okay.
Carrie, I got a question for you, and this is a little bit hard to talk about, but I'm kind of curious. Just to clarify what's going on here, Carrie is Asian. I don't know what your background actually is.
Vietnamese.
Okay, like so Vietnamese American then.
Yes.
Okay, so you're Asian, or you're Asian looking.
Yes.
So do you think Thai men treat you differently than white women?
Well, see, I was going, this is Carrie. I was going to jump in and talk about, the whole stereotypes about bar girls, walking with a foreign guy.
Okay, so
right?
This is interesting. I didn't know that. This is the first time they're revealing it. They should have said this. I know the hosts are trying to be nice, but I think this was important information. Just like I want to know if the girl from South Africa is black or white. That's a huge thing. Okay, race is a huge thing. Okay, you guys have to understand that generally in the world, some racial profiling is very much accepted. And that's what part of I kind of like. I mean, I'm being profiled and I profile other people. And a lot of times it is actually correct, because I can tell you that if the girl is from South Africa is white, she will be treated very, very different than if she was black here. Okay. And for most of the world. So that's just reality. And that's important, and it's okay. So now we know two of these women are Asian also. So that's not the best. Maybe that's why they're a little bit more sober about what's happening, because, a lot of guys don't know the difference, right? And, a lot of Thai women are mixed with Chinese, or Chinese, like, ethnically. So, and sometimes it's just really difficult to tell, because I feel like there's 5 or 6 different types of looks that Thai people, or Thai women particularly, have. And you can't always 100% tell. A lot of them have plastic surgery. So like, are they Korean now? You know what I mean? So it's not that easy to tell sometimes. So it's amazing that these women who look Asian, right? And they're Asian, they still, because of their attitude, and this is the only difference, right? they still, end up single and lonely and sad, right? Because there's nothing different about them essentially in terms of their looks, right? Men see them originally, like, I see a white girl, I'm like, I'm staying away, you know. But I see an Asian girl, I'm like, all right, well, let's see what's happening, right? And I guarantee you that a lot of men operate exactly the same here. So when they see an Asian girl, and then at the end of the day, essentially, they reject her. It has nothing to do with her looks. It has everything to do with her entitled personality, the Western personality, right? And this is the most purest of experiments you can ever have, right? Bring a Western man here, add bunch of Thai local guys, and show them the choices. You can have the local choices, and you can have a Western choices. You can have Western white women, Western black women, and Western Asian women, Westernized Asian women, right? Who do you pick? And pretty much everybody goes like, well, none of I don't care what they look like. They can be beautiful. They can be black, white, or Asian. I don't care. I don't want that. Again, guys, in America, in Britain, do you understand how fucked you are with the choices, the type of women that you have that you think are just normal women? How big of a trash of a choice you have? And then once again, you really need to think about getting the fuck out and at least living here for a little bit to see how the different your life can be. And again, themillionmanproject.com, it's in the description of this video. Go and look at every single step of the way that I've outlined for you, how you can actually make it happen. A lot of you think like, oh, I just do different. You guys will change. If you ever want to change your life for the better, right? If you finally, and I don't mean it just in terms of dating, your dating will absolutely be better, but just in general, your quality of your life, go and take a look at it, guys. Just because you will, if you ever want to change your life, this is the way to go. I put a link in the description of this video, and it's in bio.
So yes, I get that a lot here because I look absolutely Thai. And whenever I'm with even my, cause I'm a teacher, and with my colleagues, with my coworkers, they're white. And so when I'm walking with them or I'm eating at a restaurant, like I would get inquisitive looks, kind of like they think I'm like I'm not dressed like a working girl or anything, but they think that I'm the quintessential Thai girl with the Falang guy, trying to, I don't know, hope that he's going to lift me out of poverty or something,
Well, so let's cut through some bullshit here. Listen, if you're an Asian girl and you look Thai here, and men still think that you probably have a Farang, it's foreigner here, a Western man, you do not look like and dress like a Thai girl. Okay. Now I'm not defending Thai women in terms of the way they dress. They dress like shit. They dress the most unfuckable way possible, Crocs, mom jeans, no makeup. We got our own problems here, gentlemen. Trust me. But it looks like you also dress as essentially a bit of a hoe and a, foreign guy chaser, right? Gotta take some responsibility there, girl. Okay, it just does not happen magically. You know what you're doing.
I scored. I got one.
Exactly. And there were even times when I'm sitting in a restaurant with my white guy friend, and I would get dirty looks from other Thai women.
No, you don't.
Kind of like
bullshit. That's all in your head. No one's. And the only reason you would is because of the way you dressed and the way you behave. That's the only way. Asian, Thai women, and just generally speaking, in Filipino women, whatever country we're talking about, they don't care. They don't care if another, Thai girl is with a white guy. They just don't care. Like I said, Thai people mind their own business. They don't give a fuck. Okay. So if all of a sudden you meet another Thai person, give a fuck, trust me, you're doing something. You're either dressed inappropriately or you talk, a certain way, which I'm sure they do. Like, I can hear, I can be a blind man and I can hear where all the Western women are or Westernized Thai women are because of the way they talk. The volume itself already, right? You don't usually hear Thai women talk because they're so soft, so spoken, they're quiet, they're shy, they're proper, all of that stuff. You start hearing this, you start hearing, demands or entitlement in their voice, it's absolutely either Western woman or Westernized Thai girl. So, you know, and I don't know if she's just bullshitting us or she genuinely is that delusional. I would say probably the latter, because these women are that delusional. They'll go, I don't know what I'm doing. My boobs are falling out on and my ass is coming out, and I'm talking 3 times as loud as everybody else in here. But why am I getting dirty looks? I don't know. So yeah. Or I have a neck tattoo, and for some reason, who doesn't have a neck tattoo? Oh, nobody has except for the hookers. Oh, I see. That's not how their lizard brains works. But all right.
Like, oh, she got the guy that I wanted, or like as if like I somehow made it,
Right.
And I'm like, and I know that that's what they're
That's not what
thinking
they're
when they
thinking.
look at me, and I'm just like, dude, this guy is my coworker. He's my friend. It has nothing. I'm
First
not
of
with him.
all, having male friends is already like, first of all, yes, here everybody assumes if you are anywhere near a female, you're probably fucking her. That's just the way it is, and she should know that if she lived here long enough. But secondly, why the fuck? I mean, I understand grabbing a lunch with a male coworker, but generally speaking, like I said, being friends with men and the other way around, there are very, very few exceptions. Again, full disclosure, I do have one female friend, and she's Thai, right? So I have one female friend my entire existence right now. Generally speaking, when a girl says, "Oh, let's be friends," I'm like, no. I mean, women don't make good friends in the first place. My female friend is an exception, though I kind of had to recently downgrade her, even because just the way she still acts like a woman when I expect my female friends to act like men. And she does most of the time, but sometimes when she does act like a woman, I was like, I fucking can't deal with it. So full disclosure.
And
Wow.
and I'm not trying to steal your guy or anything, but
Do Thai guys ever walk up to you and start talking in Thai?
they're quite shy. I find that the Thai guys are quite shy, but I get approached a lot by Thai guys online, like on, I use WeChat, and they approach me there,
fuck?
and then
Just so you know, WeChat is like the official chat payment system of China. That is really odd that she's on WeChat, unless her job requires that. But even that, like, why are you interacting with people on your job's app? Like, this is a very red flag. I would say yellow flag, because this makes no sense. Here in Thailand, we have our own app where everybody communicates on, which is Line. It's called Line. And everybody else who are a little bit more international has WhatsApp. Really local people use Facebook Messenger, okay? That's it. These are the three: Facebook Messenger, Line, and WhatsApp. This girl being on WeChat, something's up there. Something is wrong there. And maybe there's some sort of a dating thing there, and she's trying to get a rich Chinese guy. Like I said, see, this is why I'm here, guys. You don't know this shit, but I do. And this is why a lot of you come here thinking, oh, I'm gonna be passport, bro, and you end up fucking with the worst trash, and your life is just the same or even worse as it was in America.
and I attempted to date a few Thai guys, and that was a disaster. Never again. I'm sorry to say.
So I want to know why. Why was it a disaster?
I think they do see me not as the same as they would you guys, because they look at me, they know that I'm not Thai, but I'm still Asian to them, and so it's, I'll give you one example. So I started to get to know this Thai guy.
This is the thing with Western women, and Thai women have their own communication problems, but Western women just cannot fucking answer simple questions anymore. Wow. All right, let's see if this example creates an explanation, okay? Why do Thai men don't look at her the same? I have a feeling I know, but okay, because I think it's either the fact that they believe that she will be the sugar mama, right? Or they think it would be cool, or they're simps. Let's see which one.
He asked me out on a date, and he invited me to his hometown, and And I'm thinking the whole time he never explained to me, like he always said, he said, oh, come down to my hometowns. You get to meet my parents. And I'm like, whoa, that's pretty, we've known each other for like a month. And he's like, oh yeah, meet my parents and everything. And I'm like, that's pretty serious. But he was like, no, like, my parents are cool. They'll be okay with that. And he's like planning all these like, different things that he's going to take me to. And I'm thinking it's going to be me and him. But the whole time it was with his entire family. We were never alone. And,
Wait, okay. So first of all, the way she was talking about it is like she wasn't gonna go, but she went anyway. Number one. Number two, okay, if you're trying to date a guy and he introduced you to his family, like that's a little simpy, I have to say. But if you're a girl, you're like, oh wow, that's great. I like, a lot of times I try to determine what kind of a girl I'm dating by her friends and family, right? Except for you don't get access a lot of times for months, and then you have to wait. But if you're like within a month already met his family and you know exactly where he comes from and what his support system is like, what his value system is like, how the fuck is this bad? You fucking idiot. I mean, these Western women, like I said, they're never happy, right? They're like, oh, nobody wants me. Fuck, I'm lonely. And then somebody wants me and wants to introduce me to his family, and I can find out a lot about him. Oh, but I don't want that either, right? You're starting to get an idea why these women here are single when we just go like, fuck off. You are a shitty human being. You will never make a good wife. Dating you is a fucking chore. It's all of these weird requirements and things that you have. You have almost nothing to offer except for, what, which we can easily purchase here for nothing. Why the fuck would we do that, right? And again, you, an American guy watching me right now, or a guy from Britain, do you understand how shitty of a dating pool you have now there? You should stop entertaining the idea of dating women in your country. You should get the fuck out of there, change your life, and go somewhere else. Thailand, Philippines, whatever. There's a million of different countries. Again, link in the description of this video, themillionmanproject.com. I spent 3 months putting all of this together so you guys have a full guide on how in every single tiny little detail. So go there and look at the table of contents. It's like 200 points long because there's so many things that you need to do right to get your life as amazing as mine is now. And my life was already great in America. I left because I just did not want to put up with these type of women that just no quality whatsoever. And you guys are stuck with them.
and no matter where we went, there was always his family there.
In a way, he was being more serious or more formal than you wanted.
No, but
Wait,
that's
what?
the thing.
What?
He,
I mean, I had the same question as the host. I thought that was an easy yes answer, and yet that's still not it. Well, let's see what the real answer is.
I don't think he liked me as like a girlfriend that he wanted to date me, but I was so confused. Yeah, it was.
I think that's maybe a Thai thing,
Wait,
and I don't know if this is.
Oh God, man. Oh, I don't want to go to the event tonight because I was at one yesterday dealing with women like this, and now I'm already maxed out. What kind of fucking retarded explanation? Like I told you guys from the very beginning, half of these women could not answer the most simple questions when they were asked in the beginning, which was to introduce themselves, right? And I guess no wonder that they cannot have. It's usually women that complain for many years that men cannot communicate, they cannot text or whatever. It's the reverse now. These Western women just completely retarded when it comes to communication with men. If you remember, the question was like, describe what is it's going on with why she does not want to date Thai men anymore, right? And guess what? She told us a story about a Thai man who was not interested in her. And that was a story about why she doesn't want to date Thai men, right? You see how fucked up they are in their heads. And like, usually it shows up in the first few text messages, but of course, a lot of you simps continues, but she's pretty. I'm going to avoid all of the red flags. I'm going to avoid the fact that she cannot answer simple questions because she doesn't give a fuck. I'm going to keep going because I want to see those boobies. And then you guys end up like, watch the video that I had 2 days ago where, this, Passport Bro wannabe dude who came here and failed for 7 years and still hasn't learned his lessons. So check that one out. But all right, let's keep going.
An exact parallel, but when the first date I ever went on with a Thai woman when I first got here, she brought two of her friends. I was like, what the hell's going on?
That's happened to me before too. It's so strange.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you ask a girl out on a date, a proper date, and she brings a
Okay,
friend.
so so this used to happen. This used to happen before I even got here, where for a Thai woman, a proper Thai woman, to go out on a date with a man, but especially a foreigner, she would bring a friend, a chaperone. That was part of the culture. Not everybody, but that was acceptable. And I don't know how I would react to that, but as you can see, this is a clash of cultures, which is okay because, like, I probably, if I was here 5 years ago or 10 years ago and that was the thing, I actually don't mind winning their best friends over or their families over. I don't have a problem with that because, like, I will leave and I will have someone on my side in her camp. So, and again, I'm not trying to get laid on the first date ever, really. I always suggest that, guys, you jerk off before the first date because that's when you will have a true first date, when you get to know a girl and hopefully seeing the red flags. So don't try to get laid on the first date unless the first date is literally just for that, right? It's not going to be a serious relationship. But it doesn't really happen now. Now, I do know this one guy who I was mentoring for a while until I had to basically, like, fire him as a client almost. He went to the province, not that much of a province. It was a region of Chiang Mai and suburbs of Chiang Mai. And the girl wanted to bring a friend, a chaperone. And I told them, think about it. Like, if she's really, because she lived in, like, out there in the rice fields and probably still one of the few ones left there. But they do make good wives usually. So that's the thing. But that's not a thing anymore. Okay. These guys have been here forever. This is a story from back in the day. I have never encountered it here. I have dated some girls in provinces or from the provinces. It's not a thing here anymore. Just FYI.
I showed up. I'm like,
it is. I think it is a security thing.
It's totally a security thing.
But why would a guy have his family the whole time?
The whole time. We were never ever alone.
That's
we were
weird.
never alone. And, like, he took me to a different province, and his cousins came with us, and then we got and check this out, he got me my own hotel room.
What a horrible creep that motherfucker is. I mean, respected her enough to give her own hotel room and not try to screw her, and instead decided to introduce her to his family and friends and his where he's at. Ugh, eek. Yeah, where do you understand how fucked up these women are? And you motherfuckers live with them and date them and fuck them. Disgusting.
He slept with his cousins.
Romantic.
And
wow.
Yeah, and it was hilarious because in his cousin's hotel room, there was only 2 pillows and he was the third person. So he came to my room and he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, we can't sleep together because we're not married. But can I get a pillow?"
You would have been like, "No pillow, sorry."
What's happening?
Well, listeners, I hope that wasn't too chaotic. Greg and I are kind of new to the panel discussion format. I think it came across okay.
So this is actually the end of the first part. So this is the repost. I think they had this interview about a year ago, but honestly, it could have been yesterday. It could have been 5 years ago. It's still the same. They do have a part 2, but honestly, there's only so much of this shit I can take. And I think we've gotten out pretty much the most important part out of these women, which is, and again, I got to give kudos to them. One, this was a greatly assembled panel of different sort of, nationalities. And these women were quite honest. Like, honestly, when I thought, hey, we should do this, I should, I thought there will be a lot of bullshit, right? And there was some, but for the main topics, these women were actually quite honest, and I appreciate that. And at the end, but also you can see how they, without really even knowing this, came across and showed their true colors. And these are not the worst women, honestly. These are not even the worst women. I would say this is probably a better quality of expat women that they found. Granted, two of them are Asian, so that was an interesting thing. I wish they would have mentioned it in the very beginning, because that is the most purest experiment here, where even under the cover of an Asian girl, these girls are consistently, regularly rejected because of their attitude, because of their culture, because of the way how they look at men, because how little they have to offer, because of how little femininity they have. Again, it would be nice if this was videotaped, because then we could see if they're good looking or not. We could see if they have tattoos, right? Like almost all Western women have tattoos here. Men like me, especially men who are looking for wives, never ever, would go or girl with, even in the Western world. Like I always recommend, if you see girl with tattoos, recreational use only. Here it's even more prevalent, because majority of women who do have tattoos here are hookers and hoes of some sort. So it is absolutely yeah. So I would love to assemble a panel like this, but I just don't think that by looking at my channel they would agree. It looks like it was difficult to do it, even though this is just a regular podcast here in Bangkok. So for me, I have invited, by the way, I have invited several women, they just wouldn't come on, because they know what's going to happen, right? Like at least these hosts were kind of like, a little simpy, like trying to be agreeable, trying to keep peace. But like, I would ask all these questions that I'm asking right now. And these women don't like it. You have to understand, when they come here, and obviously they don't change, there's one thing that Western women are allergic to, is taking responsibility for their actions and words, right? And when you confront them essentially with that, they do not react well. So, all right, well, I'm going to think about still going to the event tonight. I probably should, just again, but I already experienced a couple of Western women yesterday. That was quite horrific, but so I got to do it. Okay, let me take a quick question from the live chat. I guess it's more of a comment. Camel S says, yeah, Western women can exist outside of feminist countries. All my Western female friends admit that. Well, at least you have honest friends. But why are you friends with women in the first place? We've talked about it earlier today. That would be interesting to know. But though, are you? I'm assuming you're a guy, right? But so, all right. Well, I have an interesting video to go over with you guys tomorrow. I'm actually going to try to get back to videos, because the last couple weren't really videos. Well, last three, but I just really, really enjoyed doing this, because these are so important, guys. Because in the last 3 days, what we've covered is, what happens to Western men when they come here and don't improve themselves, and how sad their lives are. And then what happens to Western women when they come here and they don't improve themselves and can't compete with Thai women. What happens to them? And nothing good, right? As you've heard, most of them are either single and miserable and sad, or they end up going back to their countries where there's plenty of simps, for them to run away to, and maybe even marry. But my main point is, and this is why I'm trying to tell you guys about my website right here, the millionmanproject.com. If you are a man in America or Europe, and you're wondering what the fuck is going on, why I can't find a good girl to date and marry, or a lot of you don't even know what a good woman is, I invite you to realize how shitty of the choices that you have in women in America. When these women come here, when they have any competition in any other country, nobody wants them, because they're trash, right? As far as dating market value is concerned, they're trash. Pretty much nobody marries them here. Nobody dates them. Nobody takes them seriously, as these women, nice women actually, once again confirm. Think about the quality of women you're dating right now and surrounded by. You should be disgusted with yourselves. You should be disgusted with yourselves enough to get up and get the fuck out of there. I did over 2 years ago, and I got to tell you, you guys, if you watch me regularly, there are challenges here. It's not that easy, but because you have so many choices, it's It's unbelievable. You can get married, you can have a girlfriend, you have more than a girl, one girlfriend, or you can just basically have a sex playground if you want for the rest of your life. All of this is all of this is available here. Where you guys are dating is just you walking through trash and trying to, like one of those, stray dogs, just trying to find something to eat, just to, get by, another day. That's what the dating scene is like in America. uh and I would not respect myself if I wouldn't have left America, 2 years ago. Okay, so he continues. Let me take another one. Yeah, this is so spot on. You have zero options in the West. I used AI to calculate the percentage of women in the West that are not overweight or in psych meds. Less than 7% of women mean that. Yeah. So I mean, and honestly, being on psych med and being overweight is not even the biggest problems with Western women, right? It's the attitude, it's the delusion, it's the entitlement, and it's the fact that they all think they're princesses because you guys, Western men in America and Europe, made them and continue to simp for them to make them feel this way, right? So, and the fact that the list of demands is so long, and the list, and I wouldn't even have a list. The one item on the list, which is again quite affordable here if you want to purchase that, and I don't even know if it's worth it. That's it. They just don't offer. And a lot of you guys, and I already did a video on that, a live stream on that, so you can check that out as well. But like I said, I also have that as the number one module in my course at the millionmanproject.com, where first I teach you what a good woman is, of what a traditional woman is. A lot of you guys either forgot or never even known what a good one, how amazing an experience is with, maybe that's what I mean. And I've done shorter videos about, I think I call it imagine, like imagine if you have a girl do this, this, and this. And a lot of you guys never experienced that before. Maybe I should do a full episode about what it's like to date a traditional girl, either here in Thailand or literally anywhere in the world. Traditional woman is a traditional woman. So, all right, guys, it was fun. This was really, really cool. Thanks for these hosts and this program to actually put this together. A very rare look into the reality that I see here. So I will do more of these. Believe me, there will be more videos like this. But I have a very nice video to go over tomorrow. So I will see you tomorrow at the same time. Peace.